Welcome to our viewers. We are Group 1 of K.A.A MBA 2018 batch. We are here today to discuss and have a very interactive session with a very special person for our leadership and business development group assignment interview. We'll be having a very interactive session with this special person to gain some knowledge on theory as well as on his personal experience and the excellence he has shown in his personal leadership qualities. Let's get on with our interview. So before we start this very interactive discussion with our special guest today, I think it's important that we give our viewers an introduction about our guest. He is a true leader who has dedicated his life to the Sri Lankan expatriate community by taking the lead in every single occasion, whether it could be any form of success or a failure, in order to do every possible action from his side as an assigned responsibility with the seal of dedication and commitment to the community. He started his career as an accountant after being graduated from management faculty of California University, and he was destined to come to Qatar to get employed in Sofitel and Mercure hotels. Later, he developed his career to become a young assistant general manager within a very short time by proving his leadership talents and skills within his professional arena while engaging himself widely to the social responsibilities of the Sri Lankan community in Qatar. He is also a CFO of W.T.K Group, which is Sheikh Jassim bin Khalid Al Thani Group.
As an entrepreneur, he started Stafford Sri Lankan School in Qatar in 2001 and successfully developed it to the international standards, widening its capacity to 1,600 students, though its current ownership is no more with him due to an unexpected situation created by political leadership of Sri Lanka. There are many more to talk and ask from him and to learn his own way of leadership qualities. So now, we would like to invite him to our interview of leadership and business development, and he is Mr. Kubudu Fonseca, known by all Sri Lankan by his name, without any further explanation. Thank you very much for coming for this interview, Mr.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to be with you.
Good evening, Mr. Fonseca. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation for this interview, and we are sure that it would be a remarkable moment in our academic life. The very first question, what influenced you to become a leader, and was it your own instincts or the academic exposure? Out of these both factors, what was the main factor that influenced you to become a leader?
I have taken this leadership from my small age. It had been developed in my paradigm for a long period of time. It was my parents, it was my school leadership, even the church. We learn from these certain aspects, it is in behind our unconscious mind, subconscious mind. With the subconscious mind, we develop our traits for future. And coming to society and mentoring with them is the most important part of it. So you met our own mentoring colleagues who have certain values, and then with their values, couple of values will bind with us. And then we will look for social need, and how we act in front of them makes you a leader. But I realized it one thing long period of time after giving leadership. It's not about how many followers you have. How many honest people are around you to do that leadership is matters. And the other one that I experience in life is if you believe you're a leader, my best quality should be not to give leadership alone, but build new leaders. We must know in decision-making process, leader is not the only one who makes the decisions. Everybody have to take leadership in making decisions. So as a leader, I learned in the course of time, I give responsibilities to people and I tell them, you lead as well with me.
We heard from the community that you were used to be called as the unofficial Sri Lankan ambassador in the very beginning when there were no proper diplomatic services in cut of Sri Lankans. You appear to be the main person for the community. The leaders emerge as either signed or emergent. It could be transactional or transformational in 2D typology. The leadership theory introduced by Dr. Perera. Actually, when we analyze your life story, you seem to belong to all these categories in your life journey of leadership. Could you tell us a bit about the past and what motivated you to act as a natural leader?
Now, with the first question, he was asking me about my education was the platform for my leadership. That becomes true, as I told you. I learned the leadership models, and we practice those leadership models in small way. And there is no one single model you can apply in your whole life. You have to know how to switch it. One is integrated with the other. It had to be situational. We must understand influence are the ones that internal and external influences, how you face, you become a leader.
You need to mix and match.
That's right. So, as a leader, it doesn't emerge without a community. Community is the number one. Leadership comes second. That also you cannot separate it. So in the process, the models that you talk, I adapt it over and over again according to the situation. And that is the best way of taking the team effort to be successful. At the end of the day, what I said was the community. One single person cannot be a leader. And the second one, I said the good leader will develop new leaders. So we have to work out in such a way our leadership qualities could be transformed in such a way to give it to others. When they understand that we had been successful, they follow the same thing. This is the leadership that I believe all leadership models you must learn and practice in your life. That is why these models are helping on our education careers, and it had been the MBA programs that what you do will take a society to another step forward, because that education you transform in your real life. Now look at it. In the past, a leader will not talk about algorithm. They have no business intelligence models. They have no AI models to work with. Today, leadership, you need that knowledge as well. And to develop the leadership to be strong, you must achieve. In order to achieve, all these tools are also very important. So education is when you talk about Dr. Travis, he was my guru as well when it comes to business management. And I tell you, we can develop a better generation by developing education.
Thank you.
In our next question, Mr. Fonseca, we would like to depict the leadership model introduced by great Aristotle simply in three elements: ethos being ethical, pathos being empathetic, logos being logical. As a leader, what do you think about this simple theory? What advice that you can give us in applying them in corporate sector?
When you in corporate sector, You have to be, if you want to be a leader and moving towards the goals that you set it and achieve the heights, you have to have certain traits with you. And one of them, as you rightly said, you have to be ethical. Ethical part comes with certain disciplines. One of the highest ethical quality of a leader is honesty. If you don't have the honesty, you will not go very far. And you will not be recognized as a leader later. Today, if you take it in Sri Lanka, in even politics or corporate world, people don't trust. In order to win the trust, you need the honesty to move. Consider for me. If you talk in that sense, we will have a community which is strongly bonded, working with a nationalistic mind that will give the leadership qualities automatically. People who have nationalistic mind, they don't divide people, but they unite people. So even in my entrepreneurship in the past, my greatest achievement is the harmony that I developed, kept the unity of all religions, all levels of people together in my entrepreneurship.
What about being logical?
Of course. You know, when you go to a discussion for a decision making is concerned, the logical mind is important. That reasoning out, logical means reasoning out. If you cannot reason out what you are saying, I have seen people talking with conclusions but not reasoning out. You can just put the person down by phrasing. Phrases are not real facts. Contextually, to come to a phrase is the logical mind. With the vast knowledge only, you can logically establish leadership. So today, for example, people take phrases like change. Obama became the leader of the country using a phrase. But did he actually do the change is a question. Important fact. Today, we have failed in many aspects. People are not demanding from leadership the logic that is important in that.
Mr. Fonseca, as we discussed and elaborated regarding these leadership styles and models in the question number 2 and 3, in the current world, we find them merely embedded on textbooks. But what do you think? Why are current leaders refrain from applying them for better results rather than aggravating the situation? Also, do you think that they do it purposely or they have lack of knowledge or understanding in how to apply them?
Now, if you take it in contextually, leadership, moment you talk about your question to me, I might think you're talking about politics. Leadership is not only politics. If you take it in a dinner table, all the time we talk about leaders means political leaders. And also religious leaders. Then comes to banking leaders. For me, more important to think corporate leaders than talking about political leaders, because political leadership is completely corrupt. So whatever the theories that you talk, they never emerge with those leadership qualities, the traits that you have to have in an honest leadership. So political leadership is not a best example to compare with your education is concerned. In today, in contextually, not only in Sri Lanka, all over the world. I remember UN UNCTAD President Rahul Prebish, he resigned from his position. The largest organization in the world on decision making, which is the UNCTAD for development is concerned, he resigned and said, these organizations are met not to do the justice to the society, but to clean the injustice what is happening. Now look at it, by context there is no value. So that is the very reason we get disturbed. All what I learn is not in the leadership. Why? So I would say one day it will come, unless we don't take these values of education into our real-time work is concerned, we cannot sustain. That is why certain countries fall in the street than in the parliament. They were put out on the street by working out in the street, but not by a ballot. Sometimes it is taken by a bullet. The reason is politics have become so bad, no value at all of leadership is seen in them. But they say we are leaders, and we have learned in the long past to recognize them as leaders. That is why poorer countries, social entrepreneurship comes. Because when they fail, in a failed society, individuals have to take leadership. Politics have become even a worse scenario for that as well. They disturb the good work of entrepreneurs. So I am concerned today, if you have to find a good leadership in country with our values that we learn, we have to make the change. We are responsible to make the change. Education that you and me get, not even 10% of the total population in the world will get it. So who is responsible? Those leaders are responsible? No. Educated us should make the change.
You have proved that you are a successful entrepreneur. As we have mentioned in the introduction, you started Stafford International School in 2001 and developed it to a complete school with international standards. The business world has introduced entrepreneurship to the corporate world as entrepreneurship. Could you tell us something about your past experience of entrepreneurship and some advice on entrepreneurship if you have any real life experience with your corporate business background?
Now, when it comes to entrepreneurship, the imagination and dreams are very important. Who talks about dream? The greatest dream was done by Martin Luther King, the speech most of you all know. And in his speech, the base was he wanted his children not to see by their color, but contextually their character to be recognized. Now, when we started the school, we wanted our identity as well. So we wanted Sri Lankans to be together and learn together. That was my dream. So entrepreneurship starts from imagination and the idea. And you develop, you do certain research work, you take certain people who have knowledgeable people, and you develop the school. Then the second part of the question is entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship comes once you start to organize as an entrepreneur. In the process of running, you face challenges. You face challenges. To face the challenges, you have to have a logical mind, team of strengths to face it and bring the change. And in the process, after learning for some time, we want to go to a model school. Then also by IT field, I brought two important education levels. One is we had a e-learning portal. Like what I had it in MBA, we had the e-learning portal. Those students were learning on e-learning. You can learn using the platform. My target was to have a set of books like what you have it for certain syllabus. They can learn from any part of the world online, virtually. So the school advanced in 17 years on entrepreneurship, which brought that. So entrepreneurship comes in the beginning with the mindset, and people together will form a good organization. In the process of running the organization, you have to bring values to the organization and make changes logically on time. We were talking about logic. This is the logic that what we are talking about on leadership also. So in the process, you are not an entrepreneur. You take the managerial and leadership qualities to make the entrepreneurial changes.
I'm sure So, Mr. Fonseca, you must have seen and associated so many leaders in your life. You must have seen in practice the leadership competencies in them. Could you tell me, in your own personal opinion, what are the leadership competencies in general?
A leader should have a vision. It is a common feature of entrepreneur as well. Leadership should have a vision to achieve. And also, leader should be able to face the challenges. Today's challenge is not tomorrow's challenge. It is something new will happen. You have to take that challenges. With my experience, when I have never faced for 62 years the challenge that I faced last year. And when I was in trouble, everyone, whoever can be a leader, you should have somebody to advise you also. So Dr. Vikramaveera Surya, one of your lecturers in PIM, he met me, he said, don't let it go. Fight until end. Leadership quality is that. Then he said, every king, to have the crown, he should have a strong neck. You cannot have a weight on your head without having a strong neck. So you should be strong man. You should physically fit and mentally fit to do. Otherwise you cannot do. This is a very important quality that you have to adhere. The third one, Lenin said, a strong leader should be knowledgeable, physically fit, and you should be able to articulate what you think. The language competency is very important. That is the reason I try to develop my quality of articulating what I want to say. Managing 140 children, you should be able to talk to 3.5 years old child to be happy, at the same time 18 years old child to be happy, and a teacher of 25 years old teacher and the principal of 67 years teacher, you should be able to manage your language and competencies. This is an important aspect. If I can speak Tamil, I would have been the most happiest. I went for my Tamil classes when I was in university, I didn't continue. The reason we should be able to put these societies together, you should have all these qualities of life you have to build. If you don't have, don't give the leadership. When the school went out of me, my owner told me, Fonseca, I know you did it with good faith, 17 years. Now take your hand off. But one day it will come back to you. Now 500 parents signed and brought a document to me to say, come and take the school again. This is what I am talking about. Leadership is concerned. If you have proper qualities, number one is honesty. If you have that, it will never diminish. And a good leader, he will do things, even at his death, people to tell this man in his life, he achieved what he wants. Automatically, when you do what you are happy in good sense, 3 Ds are there: discipline, dedication, and devotion to your nation and for mankind. If you do that, empathy, sympathy automatically will come. You will achieve the highest ratio of success. So I have seen in society, if you take it social entrepreneurship, Yunus Muhammad, he achieved the highest. Mikansi, he started the foundation called Top. He said his shoe company will develop, each time he sell 1 pair of shoes, he will give a poor 1 pair of shoes. That foundation became millionaires. Today they do for water. All poverty areas, they are touching on the same formula. When you develop that traits in you, and you will allow more leaders to follow in the same sense, and we will get, I am not just born leader. Some try to say I am a born leader, but I believe We were made leaders by my colleagues. Even in the school, I had a team to be a leader. Otherwise, I am not a leader. There is no single follower with me, you will not be a leader. So, I am again reiterating one simple point. Government have to support, not to centralize the leadership in parliament, every single area leadership to be taken. Now you go to Mayangana, even Vedas are living happily. But in the city, the building jungle, people are suffering. Why? Because they have no leadership there. One house doesn't know who is living to the next house. We have to change this paradigm. We must come back to what God created. No offense, love each other, work for one nation. It will work very well.
Mr. Fonseca, I think you have touched this question earlier. This era is being called as creativity and innovation. If you are not a creative and innovative leader, you cannot be successful in the current business world. Through creativity and innovation, the disruptive technologies have emerged in the modern day business world, and they have taken the business world to a new height. What is your understanding about them, and do you think that disruptive technology has a part to play in Sri Lankan business and the country's development?
Now, innovation and creativity is a good feature, a quality that an entrepreneur gets. That is every enterprise starts with an idea. Then they model it and plan it. Then they do research and development. This is the first three processes that is done. They go back to the main idea and they reroute it. Now, in the present context is concerned, you use it many other formulas to make it a more planned, successful business. Algorithm is used and they will put it in a very transformational process. Then you use also business intelligence formulas. So on the process, you can measure it, your idea, how much you success. Okay? And artificial intelligence is today in big way in the operation. Now, if you look at it, what is the level of superiority we have achieved in these areas? We talk about them. I know, but I am not competent in those. Sri Lanka have a huge opportunity in IT world is concerned. I remember at the time the Satosa was disintegrating, I proposed to take the Bank of Ceylon building and transferring to the IT world. We would have been in a different level if we have done it at that time. And there are many areas still social entrepreneurship can work, where there is huge gaps. One is education. Education is disrupted. In the past, we used to say our school education is taking so much of money abroad. Today, it has doubled because of international schools. One who learn in an international school, he want to go out of the country. And now these cluster schools and the international school concept have destroyed the whole thing. In order to put it back, there need some investment and concern should be by the government to put it right. This is an area that you can invest money. Entrepreneurs must think about. Then there is a gap in the old age people. The aging population question is the whole world is facing. Sri Lanka is facing as well. This is an area that entrepreneurs, present entrepreneurs should think. Some of them should be with social minded, some can be even profit making bodies. That is a necessity today in Sri Lanka. The population who cannot work is becoming higher. Then the child abuse and children who are being deprived education, quality education, how to model them for better education. And a quick methodology to bring it to actual work. Today, We are going back to 1970s and trying to do things that we did it in 70s because we dropped certain values and went. So the education area is an investment area and a creativity and innovation is necessary. The more than anything, for me, I pointed out agriculture sector. 38% of the people is living in agriculture sector. The farmer is not getting the right price. He is not getting opportunity for a market. If we can use all these new technology, algorithm, business intelligence softwares to improve agriculture sector, we can grow. For young MBA graduates who have to think for future into business, I'm advising you, this is the best area that you can imagine and bring innovative and creative ideas for success. So, government is concerned, they must help people who are coming out of universities like PIM to invest money from their side. Because financing is a basic important area which most of the educated people don't have. The government should support. Even in 1970s, you go and take a loan, Bank of Ceylon, People's Bank, they have an investment arm. They advise you and they do a feasibility study together with the entrepreneur. But what about for young entrepreneurs? Why are not they doing that? They should now, banks should open their eyes and develop and give all these young entrepreneurs a position. Moment you study and finish, you should be called for meetings by meetings, how to finance you for future. So one of you will take the leadership and change the landscape of the country. So if you don't change the landscape for betterment, what is the betterment I said? Create jobs. I remember one leader saying, my first objective, second objective, third objective is to create jobs. And I am telling you, in present context, they don't know how to create jobs, first of all, so they can not promise to do that. In order to do that, you must bring all these educated people, put it in a platform, and ask their questions, and formulate to apply it in real society. So, entrepreneurship can develop only the government and the society have a continuous dialogue and government help entrepreneurs. A successful entrepreneur is not about how much of profit he earned, how much of people he made living is the question.
Mr. Fonseca, it was an absolute pleasure having you today in our leadership and business development discussion. And we have really experienced a very productive and informative session with you. I'm sure this will help us to enlighten our lives with the leadership qualities and the values that you have shown in your leadership journey. We hope that the Sri Lankan community, as well as the country as a whole, will seek your leadership more and more in the future as we seek to lack true and authentic leaders. We would also like to take this opportunity to thank on behalf of all of our MBA colleagues, as we know that even this MBA program in Qatar was introduced and initiated by you. All the best to you, sir, and thank you once again for sparing your invaluable time with us. Thank you.